Indiana basketball on the floor last night.
Right.
There's a little bit of wailing and gnashing of teeth amongst the IU faithful still because of the apparent lack of perimeter defense.
Right.
And they've given up more threes than I can even imagine right now. The leading scorer for Wright State was out last night.
Right.
So some kid comes off the bench that has not even attempted a three, and he hit about 27 of them, I think.
Give or take. Yeah, I mean, you've got to worry about the 3-point defense, the free throw shooting. There's all kinds of things to be concerned about. Now, I thought that Mbako showed up and played pretty well, 13 points. Khalil Ware, I think, is going to be a real stud for this team. He has impressed me. We all kept hearing that this guy's got no motor. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Woodson's doing a hell of a job with this kid, and this kid is doing a good job for himself. He's playing hard. He's playing well, and I think he can be a real star for this team. Once Mbako finds his footing, I think this could be a really interesting team, but they have got to be better in their perimeter defense. Their 3-point defense is atrocious.
Yeah, part of that I wonder is the three teams they've played none of them were big. They were all smaller. So now that would be a great tactic to employ, but I don't know that the teams that they're playing will be the same makeup. So that might mitigate some of that. But yeah, it's been a little alarming to see all three teams do that. But yet, even though that they're able to do that, Indiana was never in danger last night. They just could never put Wright State away because of those damn 3-point shots. But other than that, IU was shooting like 70% in the first half.
Yeah.
And they ended up 54% on the game, but Indiana's 3-point shooting is atrocious. 3 for 16 for 19%. Free throw shooting would be driving me bat blank crazy because you're getting a ton of opportunities. They went to the free throw line 32 times and missed 12 of those.
It's hard to believe.
Acceptable, man. That's just not acceptable. And if you hit the amount you should be hitting and hit 2 more threes, then you're looking at this going, okay, that's about right. They're just off, and hopefully they can get that little tweak fixed because that's a hell of a difference.
Well, everybody will ask Woodson, what are you doing about the free throw shooting? Well, they practice like crazy.
Yeah, I get so tired of hearing somebody saying, they should shoot free throws.
Right. Well, look, do I think they're going to get significantly better as the season wears on? No. I mean, I think they'll get better on their perimeter defense because they have to, because Woody will kill them if they don't. But free throw shooting, either you're a good free throw shooting team or you're not. And I just don't see how that's going to improve dramatically in the next couple of weeks or next couple of months. And when you get into tight games and you've got, University of Connecticut coming up, you got to make those suckers. And so that is a potential real problem for Indiana. They're okay for now, but once you start facing teams that are going to be 1 possession, 2 possession games, that's going to be an issue.
Well, and there are some positives that don't get talked about now. And one other negative before I get on the positive train, they were out rebounded in the first half.
They were
this team, and that's not acceptable. But I think that Woody made a comment in the post game that he'd like to see some rebounds from his guards because between all of them, there was a total of 1 rebound. He said, hell, I'm 69 or whatever he is. I can get a rebound. And I agree with him. They've got to be more active in that regard. But Indiana did force a lot of turnovers, 12, but they were efficient with those turnovers. 17 points off of those 12. That's a number you'd love to see every week.
Absolutely. No, it's funny. They weren't bad defensive. I mean, they were terrible on their perimeter defense, but they got in the passing lanes. They made things happen. They got those 12 turnovers. Keep in mind, as you mentioned, this is a Wright State team that was playing without its best player. You know how much of a difference he may have made. I have no idea. The kid who came in and replaced him went nuts from three. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, you've just got to be better on perimeter defense. There's just no way around it, because the way the game is played now, that's the difference between winning and losing.
They will be back at it on Sunday as they take on the reigning national champion, UConn, in Madison Square Garden. Of course, Indiana Sports Beat will be there, but that is going to be a game. That's a game where someone like Mackenzie Mbako could just look up, look around, soak that in, feel it, feel that energy, and finally have a breakout game, or not. But it's just such a special place. If you have not been there, I mean, I get chills just sometimes thinking about it.
I grew up going there, Jim. I grew up in New York, and my dad used to take us to games at the Garden all the time, whether it was the Rangers or the Knicks. And you know, it's not a beautiful place. I mean, they've done it.
Yeah, it's not about aesthetics.
It's not about aesthetics. It's just, you sense that you're on Broadway. You sense that you are in the Mecca, and all the history of Madison Square Garden. You think about all the great players who've come through there and had amazing performances, like Jordan and Embiid and people like Kobe and all that. So yeah, it's a really cool place, and the fact that it's in Midtown Manhattan just makes it even cooler.
Well, I think that required reading should be Woody taken, and of all people, Woody, who has a long history there, but have those players walk around the concourse.
Yes,
I remember doing that when I was there. The only time I was there for the Big Ten tournament a few years ago, I was there by myself early because I was doing a show, and I'm walking around, and they've got all these pictures up, which a lot of places do, but this is on the concourse, and you start looking at these photos, and it's Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to John F. Kennedy.
Right.
It's sport. It's these other sporting events. But these are historical things, and it's like, wow. If you don't get moved, I don't know what to.
Then you're not a sports fan or a fan of history, because that place has been the site of. So I remember as a kid, and this shows you how old I am. Muhammad Ali against Joe Frazier, one of the greatest fights, certainly in the trilogy between those two. You think about the Thrilla in Manila and all the others, but that fight at Madison Square Garden was an absolute war.
Absolutely, and back in those days, they could smoke in there, right?
I think so. You could smoke anyhow. You could smoke in a plane back then.
What cracked me up is here you would have this big time athletic event where these guys have trained for months and months, and they go into an arena that is filled of smoke.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting there smoking. And
Right.
It would crack me up. You could see the haze in the background from all those lights. I'm like going,
I've seen pictures of old Pacers games at the old Fairgrounds Coliseum, and you could see this haze. It looks like a Fish concert.